I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
And how are we doing out there? All across this great republic of ours, and it is a republic, and around the world, it's that time once again for the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we are here to do what we do each and every Monday through Friday, and that is to educate, inform, and engage you, our listening audience, on the politics of religion and the religion of politics. And we had a worship service last night, known as the Donald Trump speech to Congress. Everybody in the leftist media tried to make a point that this wasn't actually the State of the Union message. It was too early to be called the State of the Union message. It was a speech made before Congress by our newly elected president, Donald Trump. And for all intents and purposes, even the left, at least the media elites, had to acknowledge that Donald Trump delivered. He delivered. I think one comment I heard from one of the leftists out there on social media was, well, at least he didn't go off the edge. I guess that's a start, that kind of thing. So Trump, he was lauded on both sides of the political asylum, not by the congressional members. I'm talking about the media. Maybe they're all trying to play nice, so they can get back into press conferences. I don't know. But anyway, hey, let me get Joe on here, my cohort and partner in crime. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing good, John. I'm doing good. And yesterday was President Trump's first speech to the joint session of Congress. Today, 1 March, 5 years ago today, we lost Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart passed away 5 years ago today. Just wanted to. Let's remember the guy for what he did. He started a lot of things, and we're starting to see some of those fruits.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for Breitbart, we may not have Steve Bannon, who I happen to think is one of the best additions to the Trump cabinet, because this guy sees the media and he sees the left, I think, through the eyes of the average American. Maybe he's a little bit extreme, but I can understand why people would say that. I don't really think he's extreme. I think he's spot on most of the time when he talks, and I think that's why people think he's extreme. I think that's why him and Trump get along. Neither one of them pull punches when they speak. So, maybe that's a connection, that they have, but. Steve Bannon is certainly a tribute to what Breitbart stood for, in my opinion. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the reason why he was running Breitbart's website and or their news channel that they participate in every day now. I mean, on satellite radio. So yeah, I mean, Bannon was doing that, and so he understood what Breitbart, what his vision was. And he's not extreme, not at all. I mean, he's no more extreme than you or I are. I mean, this guy speaks to the truth, and basically, that's extreme anymore.
Well, see, that's my point exactly. Is that he speaks. The reason it sounds extreme is because when politicians hear words through to the ears or through the mouth of average Americans, they think it's extreme. It's within that perspective because we're not kowtowing to them. We're not, sitting there in throes of adulation. You're a senator or you're a congressperson, and with all that responsibility, and boy, I should just bow down and kiss your feet kind of thing. People like us, we talk about Congress, and they're some of the dumbest, lamest people walking the face of the earth, and yet they get elected by us. There's a paradox for you. We elect people that we normally look at as being less than normal, less than functional, and yet we keep electing them. Sometimes maybe that's a great mystery to me. That's one of those things I'm going to have to ask God about one day. What was this all about? I have two big questions for God. Why the political system? And two, why the tree? It was what it is. And in line with that, I saw it's a little brief article today, as soon as I got up this morning, and I thought it was so appropriate. It kind of demonstrates or illustrates the way that this country sees things, like elections and stuff like that. Why the cry for the popular vote over the Electoral College. Why we call our country a democracy rather than a republic. It's because the mentality, the paradigm with which people see things. I've said for a long time, I believe that the biggest problem we have in America is that we have what I call a sitcom mentality. That is, we have a story, plot, crisis, and solution all within a 30-minute time span on most of your sitcoms. And when you throw in commercials, you're actually talking about 20 minutes. So within 20 minutes, we live a life experience through the sitcom. And so everything that America has come to expect is something that should be resolved immediately. We have a problem. We have a crisis. People in America expect somebody to do something and do it now and fix it so that we can go to bed laughing and chuckling or feeling good, that the hero got the girl or, whatever, or the world has been saved or whatever it is that particular sitcom that they're looking at. And so that's kind of like how the average American, I think, sees politics, is that, hey, we have an immigration problem. Fix it. Well, what's the quick fix? Let everybody be citizens.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the quick fix. We have an Obamacare problem. We have a health care problem. Well, we need to fix it. Well, how do you fix it? Give everybody health care. And there's never any...
Hey, let the government run it. That's a good solution. Let the government do it.
Yeah, because I don't really want to do it. I'm too busy watching my sitcoms. That kind of...
Government's running the post office great. Hey, the government's running that railroad really good. Let's let them take care of health care.
Yeah. Yeah. They can't run the post office. They can't even defend our borders, for crying out loud. I think it was one of the things Trump emphasized so well last night in his speech. We're out here building everybody else's infrastructure. We're out here defending everybody else, and we're letting our own country go to hell.
Yeah. It's time to look a little bit inward. Introspective, mind you. Oh my goodness. You just care about yourself.
So anyway, in line with that, the reason why Donald Trump gets in so much trouble using Twitter is because Twitter is 145 characters. It fits the average sitcom mentality. You put something out there with 145 characters, and everybody knows exactly what you mean, and they can go anywhere they want to with it. And, you make a statement about something, and lo and behold, we now know who you are. 145 characters, and we know who you are. Our sitcom mentality is engaged, and we know that you're the villain. Okay? And so I'm looking at this thing this morning. Record 3 million tweets. Donald Trump broke Barack Obama's record number of tweets on a speech, Barack Obama's last State of the Union speech in 2015. 2.6 million tweets during that. Donald Trump broke it by 500,000, all right? But here's the thing that got me. He says, Google says the top trending questions was who wrote Donald Trump's speech, something I asked myself, and people also wanted to know how tall the president is and whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. So we've got people out there watching the speech to Congress as though it's a sitcom, and they want to know how tall he is. I guess maybe somebody should have asked what brand shirt does he wear? What deodorant does he use?
What ice cream do you like?
Yeah, what ice cream do you like? Do you like McMuffin or do you like McFiddle? It's like it just fits so well in how I perceive things. Very short article about the number of tweets and what they were tweeting about. And, of course, the two biggest tweets about actual topics or substance was health care and the widow of the fallen seal. Emotion. Boom, bang, bing. Yeah, everybody. Emotion goes into high gear. That's so. And I hope you understand, folks, what I'm talking about here. This is our biggest problem in America. It's not Donald Trump. It's not even Barack Obama or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or the rest of them. We are the problem, my friends. We have got to get beyond Twitter and sitcoms and start paying attention to what the hell's going on here. That's how, because we haven't been paying attention, that's why we're in this mess. That's why we're having these conversations and these arguments and the division and everything that's going on. Nobody knows what the hell is going on.
But I don't want to talk about it. This stuff's so boring and ugly and it stinks. And I just rather can't I just watch my TV?
Yeah, or as Howard Beale says, you just leave me into my living room with my TV and my toaster. No, I'm not going to leave you alone. We got to go to a break, guys. Our first break of the day. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on.
That's nice, but that's the wrong one. We're going to play this one.
We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey, folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
We need to keep illegals out.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
All right, hey, we're back. Let's launch into last night's speech with Donald Trump in front of Congress, first congressional joint Congress, first time he's addressed joint Congress since taking office. Probably the first time he's ever done it in his life. Am I right?
Yeah, he's never done that before.
Yeah, I mean, nobody ever had him there.
It wasn't like he was a governor and he could do it in some state somewhere. This guy's he's not a politician, for crying out loud. He's still not a politician, although he understands politics.
Yeah, well, that was one of my first take on his speech last night. Probably 10 minutes into it, I looked over to my wife and I said, God, I wonder who wrote this thing for him, because it didn't sound anything like Donald Trump. Even when he's using teleprompters in the past, he has a tendency kind of go off script. You know, if he uses, like, he likes using the words, that's so sad, or, big deal, that kind of thing. Common man speak. And but last night was very structured. And you could tell, one of the things I could tell, I know he had 2 teleprompters at least, because he kept turning one side and then turning the other side. I noticed he didn't look at the Democrat side too much.
But what for? They were basically sleeping.
Well, but there's several times where he made some comments, especially when he made the one about draining the swamp. He actually motioned to the Democrats. Did you see the hand movement? He actually motioned to him, and a couple of times during the night when he was kind of, being as hardcore as I guess he was going to get last night, he actually looked at somebody on that side of the aisle and actually motioned his hands to him like, I'm talking about you, that kind of thing. But I 10 minutes into it, this is something completely different. And I think probably finally, maybe his advisors finally got him calmed down enough to say, look, this has got to be, whether you like it or not, it's got to sound like it's coming from a president and not an average Joe. You've got to play the game a little bit here. One of the things my wife commented, because she has never really watched things like this. She's like most average Americans. She's seen things on the news, but she's never watched a speech like this from beginning to end. And being from the Philippines, they don't do that. And in Philippines, State of the Union messages are much, much shorter than this. Rodrigo Duterte just basically got up in his State of the Union and says, this is what I'm going to do. If you don't all like it, you can all go to hell. That's basically what he did. But she says, why do they keep getting up? Why do they keep standing up? I told her, dear, this is theater. This is political theater here. She goes, well, only one side of the room's standing up. I go, yeah, the guys sitting down are the losers.
Yeah, exactly.
If you'd watched Obama's speech last time, it was the other way around. So it's just, it was funny. I want to, just off the top of my head, the most telling moment for me, I don't know, because I see through the eyes that I see through the biased prism of conservatism. And the standing ovation for the wife of the fallen senior chief that died over in Yemen a couple of weeks ago. And so looking at a couple of faces that I saw as the standing ovation was quite a standing ovation. I think Trump even made some comment about that might have been a record ovation in a congressional speech, which he'll take credit for, of course. But the looks in their faces was like, well, it was like nobody wanted to be the first one to stop clapping. That's what I was getting. That was the feeling I was getting. The first one to stop clapping would be the one that would be tweeted about today. I mean, that's how much theater is involved in this kind of stuff, folks. Yes, we have compassion. We feel for this woman who lost her husband. There's no doubt about that there were many. I'm sure there were many there that could feel for her. I know I was feeling for her. I was brought to tears watching her trying to maintain some level of calm. How do you do that? It's very hard to do. But I can tell you, for the most part, a lot of those people in that room were kind of like, okay, I've got to clap. Okay, who's going to stop first so that I can stop? I'm sorry if that sounds cynical and pessimistic, but I know politics now. I've been doing this for a few years. And
let me ask you, John, what was the deal with the white curtains being worn by the Democrats?
Oh, you know what? What I thought when I first saw those women? I think Jackie Spear was one of them, identified as one. You talk about the women that were all dressed alike in white?
Yeah.
I thought that was the Mothers of Holy Rosaries or something, or Red Cross workers. I thought they were guests, like maybe from the Red Cross or Salvation Army uniforms. That's what they look like.
What was Democrat History Month, and they were going to go, hey, we're just a female portion of the Klan? What were they doing?
Well, those were members of Congress. I know Jackie Spear was one of them.
Oh yeah, I know they were members of Congress. I mean, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was there sitting next to Keith Ellison in her little white garb.
Well, you know why? I can tell you why.
Why? Why were they dressed in white?
Because Hillary Clinton wore white at her acceptance speech on the inauguration night at the DNC convention. And don't you remember all the articles about why she chose the colors that she wore? She wore white on the night she was her confirmation was, the confirmation at DNC. She was the nominee. She wore white.
Sorry, John. John, you could put white, you could have a prostitute wear white at her wedding. Doesn't make her a virgin.
No, you put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. We understand that. But that was solidarity with Hillary Clinton. That's what that was.
Oh, well, good. Well, hey, stand up with your loser.
Yeah, okay, fine. Dress in white. Maybe you should have been dressing in black because that woman is all but dead now. Okay? The Clinton Foundation is history. You're not going to hear a whole lot.
It's not history. It's reshaping itself, John.
Yeah,
you know better than to call it history.
You're not going to hear a whole hell of a lot from Hillary Clinton until Chelsea announces her run for Congress. All right?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that organization is not dead. It's just reshaping itself, remolding itself, putting a new face on it.
Well, that's what I mean. They'll put a new face on it because they're going to have to. They'll use anything they can do with Chelsea now to reinvent the wheel and start gathering more money through their pay for play. You're right. Right now, it's in hibernation. It's like Acorn. It's being reshaped. Acorn is now organizing for action, and it's being reshaped as we speak. And I think a lot of it was put in place before Obama came out. But I think, for all intents and purposes, this is the way the Clintons got to do this now. They've got to kind of lay low for a while and let all the fervor die down. Let's get we got to bash Trump. Trump is the topic all this year. He'll be the topic all this year. You're not going to hear a whole lot about Obama other than, as you just showed me here, he's just inked a $65 million deal for a book.
I knew you'd love that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and a book that'll probably end up in the bargain bin with Hillary Clinton's within 2 months after it's published. But he'll make a ton of money off of that stuff. Okay, fine. You know what? I'm all for capitalism. You know what? If somebody wants to pay me $65 million for me to write a book about myself, I will be more than willing to do that.
There are enough dumb people out there to buy it. Fine, go for it.
Well, the people that don't live do what? Read about other people who do. People that can't do, teach. I guess that'll seem. But I don't want to actually say that because I teach. But the point being is that why do people do this? Why do people watch Dancing with the Stars? Is it because of celebrities? Or is it because they don't know how to ballroom dance? That's why I watched it when the first couple of years came out. I watched it. I didn't care who the celebrities were. I happen to like ballroom dancing, but I can't dance to save my life. So, yeah, it was great to watch somebody else do it. We watch America's Got Talent. Why do we do that? Well, I don't really have any talent. I don't sing. I don't dance. I can't twirl hoops. I can't balance plates on a stick or whatever. So we watch somebody else do it. So why do we buy books? Why do we buy biographies on people that are famous? Because we're not famous. It's that simple. That's why we do it. Or that's why they do it. I don't think I own any books that are biographies. But people do it. They spend money on this stuff because they think their own lives are so inconsequential and dismal that you try to live through somebody else. I don't know if you grew up like this, Joe. I grew up, my dad was a Little League dad, okay? I didn't get to play Little League growing up because my father wanted me to be an academic. But my young brother, middle brother, the one who passed away a couple years ago, was the jock in the family, and he was very good. Played baseball, actually recruited by the Angels. Never made it through their club because he got married and screwed his life up. But he was very good, and my dad lived for his Little League career. And I can tell you, every Saturday we'd go out, and then twice during the week. But Saturday was a big day when all the families got together to watch Little League. And everybody was living their lives through their kids because none of their parents sitting in those benches could play baseball to save their life. So what they did was they tried to live their fantasy through their children. That's what Democrats do. They're trying to live their life through other people because they've been convinced that their life is worth nothing. If you're not contributing to the collective, you have no use and no purpose. That's too bad. The age of the individual is fading fast, and it's just a sad state of affairs. And the reason why is because people will pay to buy Barack Obama's book so he can tell them how great he is and how dismal they are. So just think about that. Think about that.
Then I think, it's just sad that people don't have a life. That's what it comes down to. And you know what? I keep coming back to the thing from, 2,300 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, folks.
Pericles.
If there's anybody out there at Random House listening right now, you don't have to pay me $65 million for me to write a book about myself. Pay me a couple of grand and I'll do it. All right? I'm just being facetious and sarcastic here, but like I said, more power to him. The guy can make $1 million writing books. Let's hope he spends his time doing that instead of infecting the country with any more of his liberal crap.
No, well, we know that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, we got to go to break here. We're at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
You can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Red State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
You know, sometimes when you compare prices on products, you think to yourself, what difference does it make? The rates are all about the same anyway, but sometimes the rates are very different. Let me give you an example where there's a huge difference in pricing between companies. Vehicle protection plans. Look, if your car is 4 years or older, having a vehicle protection plan is a no-brainer. The trick is not to overpay for it. Here are the facts. The average price of a vehicle protection plan is $2,800, while the price of a TOCO warranty vehicle protection plan for most vehicles is just $1,500. The average down payment on a vehicle protection plan is $299. With TOCO warranty, there's no down payment. The average monthly payment on a vehicle protection plan is more than $160 a month. With TOCO, the average monthly payment is just $49. To get a highly rated vehicle protection plan at a great low rate, call TOCO Warranty at 1-800-987-1519. That's 1-800-987-1519. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will fight for you using industry secrets that can stop any IRS actions, eliminate penalties and interest, and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor now for a free IRS audit emergency review.
800-691-9879. 800-691-9879. 800-691-9879. That's 800-691-9879.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for MyPillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. MyPillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable MyPillow is with its patented interlocking fill. MyPillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. MyPillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. MyPillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. MyPillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code RedState. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code RedState. Put sleepless nights behind you with MyPillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote. Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294. Are you behind on your taxes? The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote at 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294.
I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Am I not speaking English?
The Conservative Syndicate.net, where we speak only one language, American.
All right. We're back and ready to go. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I just got a message from Scott Faulkner, one of our Tea Party or Conservative Syndicate panel members here, kind of synonymous. You can call it one or the other. And we've kind of been, leaving Scott alone here. He came down with a really bad cold a few weeks ago. Needs some time to heal, but he's tagging me. He's like, man, we need to talk tomorrow. I'm like, okay. All right, so we'll have I'm pretty sure we're going to have Scott Faulkner on tomorrow. May use the whole show. If you don't know, he's working with the Trump team here, and he's got a lot of inside skinny force. So I'm hoping he can tell us that they've flushed out some of the leaks. Don't you think, Joe? I don't think it's about time we knew something about that.
Well, you know what? I just hope they make him stop. I'm the opinion of the old days back in, we grew up in the Cold War era, and I want good OPSEC. I don't really care. Find it, kill it, smash it, and I don't care if you tell us about it. Just make it stop.
Oh yeah, really. I mean, this just got to stop. And I'm surprised at this point in time. Maybe they have done it, and we just don't know, But I'm sitting here going, instead of the amount of time that Trump has spent lambasting the media over this stuff, he could have set these people up. You create something, and it's actually a false leak.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm not really surprised you said that, but they did do that. They were doing that. They were putting out stories just to see, on a limited basis on who actually received the story, just to see if that made news.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure they'll probably keep that all rather secret, anyways.
It should.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that the media can't get a grip on. Obama was out there. He wanted to brag on anything he did. He wanted to brag. Look at what I did. Look at, in his speeches, every speech he did was about him. I.
Yeah,
so it doesn't, these people aren't used to that of an administration that wants to keep things a little under the cuff here. We don't need to tell and, show our cards, so to speak, to the entire world. I mean, that is just foolishness to do.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they do something. They flush this stuff out, and I'm sure they will. I mean, listen, I don't even have anything else to say about that right now. I just hope they get it done because.
We'll find out. I think Scott's going to have a lot. I think we'll probably hear some of the probably some more stuff, maybe on what's going on behind the scenes with maybe getting Obamacare repealed.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some more skinny on, maybe what led up to the speech, that kind of thing. The silliness of Kellyanne Conway sitting on the couch. I mean, for crying out loud, really? Yeah. Do we have some more important crap we can talk about than that?
Well, I was, when that first came out, I mentioned it yesterday, I think, briefly, and I was just going to ignore it. But then she actually, I guess, felt the necessity of going on the air and trying to explain what was going on or defending or I didn't really mean disrespect, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, let's put this in context, folks. We've got to put things like this in context. One, it's totally ludicrous to even bring it up. But I remember years ago, George Stephanopoulos, who was one of Bill Clinton's main go-to guys, and he was one of Clinton's strategists. And I remember listening to Stephanopoulos in an interview with somebody. I forget who he was talking to, but he was talking about how they were trying to run the damage control when the Lewinsky scandal broke. And
that's what created MoveOn.org.
Exactly. That was the initiation of MoveOn.org, and they determined that they had to destroy Monica Lewinsky's reputation, as if you would need to do that anyway. Okay, you get caught using artificial means to sexually arouse somebody. All this. Everybody knows what that story's about. We don't have to go there, but that in and of itself should have ruined your reputation. Okay. But they felt like they had to do it in order to protect Bill Clinton. And he was talking about how they actually planned it out.
John, hold on now. Now let's remember who was running that whole scene behind the scenes. None other than Hillary Clinton was running it.
Hillary Clinton was running the whole scene behind the scene.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, the conversation drifted from talking about Lewinsky. He was talking about, we determined we had to destroy her reputation, and so we started talking about this, and we started talking about that, and that's how the strategy evolved, and blah, blah, blah. Well, it got to, somebody asked him a question about just what was it like to hang out with Bill Clinton and talk policy. I remember it was a question along that line. I don't remember the actual wording of it, but that was a context. What was it like hanging with Bill Clinton when you guys talked about policy and agendas and, the stuff that you were going to do? And he talked about all-night parties in the Oval Office. He said we'd go out and order pizza, beer, and we'd pass a joint around, and we would sit up all night talking about policy. Now, Kellyanne Conway is being ostracized for having her feet up on the couch. These guys use the Oval Office as a party room. Nobody ever said anything about that.
It's more like a college dorm room.
Yeah, that's because that's what they were. One of the things that Stephanopoulos had admitted that was how naive Bill Clinton was about politics when he got into it. But he learned, he was a good learner, quick learner, caught on real fast what to do, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just, that flashed in my mind. I'm thinking, why didn't anybody make a big deal about what was going on in the Oval Office? And Bill Clinton, my understanding is, his affair or his thing, his act of intercourse / not intercourse with Monica Lewinsky took place in the Oval Office, didn't it? It was that's my understanding.
Yeah, I was right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're talking about a woman putting her feet up on the couch with everything else that's gone on in that office. And I'm sure Bill Clinton is the only one that did something less than respectable in the Oval Office. And we had John Kennedy in there, for crying out loud. Okay?
So what you're trying to point out is the hypocrisy of the left.
Again. I mean, it goes beyond the hypocrisy that you're trying, because it's like every little thing has to be made into a big deal because you've got nothing else to do. You've got no other argument. You guys have gotten your ass kicked time and time again over the last 8 years. You've lost governorships. You've lost state assembly seats. You've lost state senate seats. You've lost congressional seats in the Senate and the House. And you're still trying to convince us that you have the answer. So what else can you do but attack somebody sitting in the Oval Office with their feet up on the couch? I mean, give me a freaking break. I remember seeing pictures of John Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon with their feet up on the desk. Okay, was that disrespectful? I don't think so. Hey, it's an office. People do that in offices, It's not sacred ground. Jesus. So anyway, I really didn't want to go there, but it incites my hypocrite button. It's like, find something else to bitch about, for crying out loud. Quit majoring in the minors.
Yeah, exactly. Is that all you got, really? Is that really all you have? So why don't you come up? It's sophomoric at best.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing, Maybe we should just put plastic on everything, all right?
Oh, yeah. Get that antiseptic smell going.
Oh, anyway. I'm still wondering if Obama I just think this kind of stuff. I wonder if he had a picture of the Afro girl on black felt with black light colors.
Oh, John, come on.
All right, we got to go to break. We'll go to break here. Oh, yeah, flashback from my caffeine fit yesterday. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
And we're going to just do something special here just in honor of the hypocrites.
Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespasses against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right. Hey, listen, guys. I last couple of days here on the show, I've been feeling extremely giddy, just giddy, and I don't know. Maybe there is a sense of relief that we made it through the election cycle, and the results of this last election was way beyond, I think, what anybody expected. Even if you thought, okay, Donald Trump was going to win, the fact that we were able to retain the majority in the Senate, that was something I was kind of concerned about. What happened in the House was not so much what bothered me. And then what took place at some of the state levels in terms of an increase in Republican governorships and things like that. So I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling a little giddy. It's kind of like, I'm feeling some relief here.
So
okay, so let me just put a damper on that. Okay, John. Here, let me just rain
well,
on you.
I was just going to say you can't be too. We can't throw caution to the wind here. So go ahead.
Yeah, the Democrats have lost all these seats. Two-thirds of the country's state legislatures are Republican controlled. The Republicans are in control of the White House. They're in control of the House of Representatives. They're in control of the United States Senate. And yet, tell me, what piece of leftist agenda has been rolled back? Tell me what piece has been rolled back.
Well, we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything repealed or rolled back as far as Congress goes. No.
No, that's my point. I haven't seen anything rolled back. We might see a pause, but we won't see anything rolled back, and that's the sad part of this. These people are in control now. Let's take some stuff back. Let's get it back to where it should be constitutionally. I.e., hey, I see there's this big fight coming up. Certain senators are getting in line that they're going to fight against Donald Trump and his reduction in foreign aid. Our tax dollars are going to go to these foreign countries. And why? That's not anywhere in the Constitution whatsoever. But yet these guys are going to stand up and fight against reducing the amount of American tax dollars that are going to go overseas.
Well, let's just what you said, Joe. Let's put some context onto this, okay? Based on what Trump said last night, Joe's made a very valid point here. Congress has done nothing in terms of helping Donald Trump accomplish what he promised the American people he was going to do. And we said that. We knew that. This is no big surprise to us here at the Conservative Syndicate. We told you we don't expect Congress to really cooperate with Trump outside of whatever they can do that will make them look like they're governing come re-election time. Okay? They're not really going to do anything there unless they're absolutely forced. However Trump can use... I think Trump is going to be one of the most effective presidents with a bully pulpit, I think. But
he's going to have to be. Otherwise, he won't get anything done.
Yeah, but even that is going to be a major struggle because these guys are hunkering down. Believe it or not, you think the Democrats are regrouping? I can guarantee you, the Republican establishment is regrouping. They're trying to figure out how can we do this and not leave any fingerprints. Okay, I guarantee you that's what's going on. But listen, I just want to recap. I want to take what Joe just said here, and I want to recap from Donald Trump's speech last night what he has done since he's come in office. And this will just accentuate and highlight what Joe is just saying. Congress has done nothing to help him, including allowing the Democrats to drag their knuckles on the confirmations. Okay, they don't have, this could have taken place the way it's taken place in every other presidency with the majority in the Republican House and the Senate. This could have been a slam dunk deal. They just pull the go nuclear, and everything could have happened, just like Harry Reid did with Barack Obama. But I'm going to read you the list here, okay? Let's spend some time on it. It's a good point. What Donald Trump has done, what his administration has done since he's come in office, and you'll note that none of this has anything to do with anything that Congress has done, either in the House or the Senate. He says, since my election, Ford, Fiat, Chrysler, General Motors, Sprint, SoftBank, Lockheed, Intel, Walmart, and many others have announced that they will invest billions of dollars in the United States and will create tens of thousands of new American jobs. How did that happen? Trump called them into a room, and he talked to them, and they determined how they were going to do this. All right? Next, the stock market has gained almost $3 trillion in value since the election November 8th, a record. We've saved taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars by bringing down the price of the fantastic new F-35 jet fighter. Who did that? Donald Trump did it. He's the one that went to Boeing and the builders of this F-35 and said, either cut the price or we don't buy it. He didn't go to Congress. Congress didn't go to him. He took it upon himself to sit down and say, I'm not going to sign anything unless you guys can bring the price down. All right? He says we're going to save billions of dollars more in contracts. Why? Not because of what Congress is doing, because he has sat down with these people and said, this is the way it's going to be, or you're not going to get my signature on the check. We've placed a hiring freeze on non-military and non-essential federal workers. I told you yesterday, 600 positions in the State Department he's doing away with. We don't need them. We're not hiring anybody. All right? Did Congress do that? They didn't have anything to do with that. He's used his executive branch to do what? What the executive branch is supposed to do. We've begun to drain the swamp of government corruption by imposing a 5-year ban on lobbying by executive branch officials and a lifetime ban on becoming lobbyists for a foreign government. Do you think for 1 minute...
Boo, hiss! I'm just imitating the Democrats from last night.
But do you think for 1 minute that Congress would go along with that?
Oh, heck no.
Hell, most of these people, that's what they do after they get out of Congress. They're not going to... You're taking away my job, dude. That's my career. That's my real career as a lobbyist. Okay, he goes, we have undertaken a historic effort to massively reduce job-crushing regulations. Has Congress had anything to do with that? No. He's gone in, told his person from the EPA, start looking at where you can cut. I want $8 billion cut out of this budget. Figure out how to do it. Did he ask Congress? Did Congress ask him? No. He's creating a deregulation task force. Is Congress doing that? No. Okay, 2 old regulations for every new one. 2 out, 1 in. You want 1 in, take 2 out. You think Congress likes that? No, they've got nothing to bid. They may not even have to show up. They can spend all their days back home fighting, outrageous town hall meetings. He goes on, we've cleared the way for construction of the Keystone and Dakota Access pipelines. Did Congress do that? No, he just undid Obama's executive order. Said, no, throw it away. Congress hasn't helped him at all. We withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Did Congress have anything to do with that? Nothing. Trump said, nope, not going to sign it, not going to do it. End of story, end of debate. And then he says, with the help of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, we formed, meaning him and Justin Trudeau, formed a council with our neighbors in Canada to help ensure that women entrepreneurs have access to networks, markets, and capital they need to start a business and live out their financial dreams. I bet you Ivanka had her hands on that. But here's the point. Did Congress do that? Did he send anything to Congress? No. I don't, who knows? Maybe we really don't need Congress if we have the right person pushing the buttons. I'm just floating that out there, guys. Let's not go there because we had the wrong guy doing the same sort of stuff. Yeah. My point being though, is that if this is all stuff that perhaps Congress should be doing or should have done and could have done up until this point. Starting January 1st when the new Congress kicked in, right? Is it January 1st or is it 17th or what?
It was in that. I mean, they take more time off than anybody. Just to be in Congress, just to be on vacation. I mean, they're in at work less time than doctors.
Yeah, but the new Congress starts the same day that the president is inaugurated?
It was the beginning of the year because that's when they started doing their thing. So it was basically...
Well, they've had more than 40-plus days to do something. Donald Trump has done it, and they haven't. That's the point. We got to go to a break here. We're at the top of the hour here. Edward's Notebook, Pay Some Bills. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
The never-ending campaign against President Trump. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. The election of Donald Trump for President of the United States represents the desire of many Americans to see our republic rescued from utter oblivion. Of course, we the people who desire America to be great again are not so naive to think that Trump alone can improve the fortunes of the United States. However, we do know that the president is the commander-in-chief who has certain powers and responsibilities which are enumerated in the U.S. Constitution. The president is supposed to do all he can to protect the United States of America. Also, the last time I checked, when it comes to the issue of defending our country, it would not hurt if Congress and the judicial branch would agree. But unfortunately, we live at a time when a large segment of government and society are positioned to expend all of their energies to stop the administration of Donald J. Trump. Of course, on the surface, it seems like it's a political battle, but also it is spiritual in nature. You see, you have the progressive Democrats at war against Christian influences that are a major part of the foundation of what has been great about our republic. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet, baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, we're back. Hour two right here at the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, when you get a chance and pick up everything you want to know about this show. You can find everything you want to know about us, theconservativesyndicate.net. Okay, I just highlighted a bunch of things that Trump talked about last night in his speech, and had things he's done without Congress. And Joe, because Joe had brought up the point that really we have a Congress that's still a do-nothing Congress. They told us they needed a president. They got the president. They're still doing nothing. And so I highlighted some of the things that Donald Trump has done without the assistance of Congress at all. And Joe's got some stuff he wants to feed back on it. You got the con, Joe.
All right, cool. Yeah. So in the same vein, just a short period after John's, he's going through the little list that Trump was going to. The same part of the speech. Trump goes, at the same time, my administration has answered the pleas of the American people for immigration enforcement and border security. By finally enforcing our immigration laws, we will raise wages, help the unemployed, save billions of dollars, and make our communities safer for everyone. We want all Americans to succeed, but that can't happen in the environment of lawless chaos. We must restore integrity and the rule of law to our borders. And what did I hear from those wearing white curtains? Boos and hisses and audible groans. How can you be against enforcing our laws? How can you be against saving billions of dollars and making our communities safer? How can you be against raising wages and helping unemployed people? How can you be that way, Democrat? How can you be that way? I get the Republicans not doing anything, but you guys don't even want to help Americans.
Well, yeah, Trump asked that. Wasn't that one of the questions? He asked that last night.
Yeah, he did ask that. He said, what are you going to tell somebody that loses their job or loses a loved one because you wanted to take care of some illegal immigrant?
Yeah, I'm looking at here. He says here, let's see here. Yeah, well, the question was along the line is, how can you justify, or how do you explain to the American people that you're not willing to do what it takes to protect them? That was the context of it. I just had the thing in front of me here. When the comment that he made, because it was a great question. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. To any in Congress who do not believe we should enforce our laws, I would ask you this question. What would you say to the American family that loses their jobs, their income, or a loved one because America refused to uphold its laws and defend its borders? Our obligation is to serve, protect, and defend the citizens of the United States. Very logical question. How can the Democrats continue to justify letting people into the country under the banner of refugees and asylum, political asylum, and everything else, and not be concerned about who is coming in with them and what that can do? I mean, doesn't 9/11, but Trump outlined, I think he used a very good phrase. I remember it. He says from San Bernardino to Orlando, Florida. We've had these terrorist attacks, all coming from people who got into our country because they weren't vetted. And they were able to carry out these events. They were able to carry out death and destruction. I don't know. I mean, even as a Democrat, you should have some logical thinking there. Don't you want to protect the people that are voting for you? Let's think about it. The Orlando thing. Okay, homosexual nightclub. Were Democrats not incensed that, how many people died in that thing? 45?
Way too many, to be honest with you.
Yeah, with some two numbers on my head, 45 and 90. I'm not sure which one it was. But the point being is, those are Democrat voters, for crying out loud. Don't you want to save your own people?
Those are Americans, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, let's bring it down to their level of thinking. Let's bring it down to the level of the average congressman or congresswoman. I want to protect my job. Okay? The easiest job in the world. Show up to work 1/3 of the year and get paid an enormous amount of money for it. And you don't want to protect those people because you're more worried about letting other people in? It defies all logic. Hey, we're in our short segment here. We got to go to break. We got our new and latest edition of the Strident Conservative along with a couple of commercials here. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Strident Conservative. He's always right.
Hello, America. This is David Leach, the Strident Conservative. When it comes to Obamacare, we know that it's been an abysmal failure. Well, except in one area. It has revived the call for a government-run single-payer healthcare system, which was the stated goal from the very beginning of Obamacare. We also know that ever since the passage of the Affordable Care Act, that Republicans have used a promise to repeal it, root and branch, as a means to fill their campaign coffers. If you're a regular reader or listener of the Strident Conservative, you know that we've been covering the Obamacare repeal for quite a while. You've learned how many of the ideas included in Trump's solution to Obamacare are very much like the law that he claims he wants to repeal. Similarity so stark that Trump Care is being called Obamacare 2.0. And you've also learned about the fake repeal plans being offered by the repeal and name-only Republicans. Further evidence of Congress's capitulation regarding repeal was recently revealed by Ken Cuccinelli, the president of the Senate Conservatives Fund, in a letter to Donald Trump where he warned the president to avoid Speaker Paul Ryan's Obamacare replacement plan, a plan that he refers to as Ryan Care. Quote, Paul Ryan is essentially putting in place a new entitlement in place of Obamacare. You can call it a massive expansion of Medicaid, or you can just call it an entirely new entitlement program where they're going to give out money to people not paying taxes, more than we're already doing, and to cover the so-called transition from Obamacare, but it will never go away, end quote. I hope this letter works, but I doubt it. As I stated earlier, Trump Care is Obamacare 2.0. In addition, Trump's first budget proposal indicates that he's not going to touch entitlement spending anytime in the near future, even though it represents 60% of the budget. When you add these two facts together, I think it's more likely than not that Trump will be very open to Ryan Care. If you have a comment on this topic, visit stridentconservative.com.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Am I not speaking English?
The ConservativeSyndicate.net, where we speak only one language, American.
All right. Hey, we are back and ready to go here. Now, if you are just listening to our clip here, David Leach of the Strident Conservative talking about the false repeal of Obamacare, that was one of the areas last night listening to Donald Trump that my radar went up. I just, as I'm listening to him, because, all you have to say to somebody like me and Joe is repeal and replace. And I'm gone. I'm like, no, repeal, repeal. All right? The replace thing isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. I don't care how good they think they're going to fix this thing. It's not going to work. The government is running it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know their details, their proposals, their projected costs, or anything else, because none of it will pan out the way that they say it's going to pan out, because government doesn't do what he says it's going to do. Period.
The government's not there to worry about if it's going to be profitable, run efficiently or anything else. It's not a business. Government is not business, for crying out loud. It never will be business. You can't. Government has, as long as you have a treasury, government has money, and it doesn't care.
Well, it's whether they talk about lowering the cost of health care or raising the cost of health care or anything in between, providing better services, giving us better providers, anything. Understand this, folks. It means using our money. And I don't know about you, but I can do much better. And I'm not great at handling money. My wife will tell you that. My wife handles our finances because I'm a compulsive spender, okay? In that regard, I guess you could call me a Democrat. I see something, I want it, all right?
At least it's your fault. It's your fault. You made the decision.
Yeah.
It's your decision to do what you want. You earned that. That's your liberty. Your blood, sweat, and tears paid for it. You got a right to do whatever you want with it. The government doesn't see it that way. The government thinks your liberty is theirs.
Yeah, exactly. See, so anything they do, even if government was able to design some kind of perfect healthcare system, which is really out there, it still requires using our money. And our money can be better put to use if we have that money and we use it. That's what capitalism is all about. That's what free enterprise is all about. That's what supply and demand is all about. It's about us utilizing our money, not handing it to somebody else to utilize it on our behalf. Just, you got to keep things in perspective here. We've been so lulled into thinking, I'll give you the example here. Here's my example. When you talk to people overseas, I as I've mentioned before, I go on cruise every year, and I meet people from all over the world. Last year, we were in the British Isles, And so I'm sitting here talking to these people from England and Australia and Canada, places like this. We get to talking about healthcare. And you have two sides of the coin there. There's some people that think it's great, some people think it's not. But the point being is that they don't have anything to compare it to. They've been lulled into this 60, 70 years ago. England decided it was going to have socialized health care. So if you have nothing to measure it against, how do you know whether it's good or not? Is it good just because you've come to accept it the way it is? See, that's the agenda with Obamacare and the left. We'll get you into the system, and no matter how bad it sucks, sooner or later you'll just have to accept it. It is the system. And just like everything else, just like Social Security, we can't destroy Social Security. We can't disband it. Why? Because too many people think it's the way. It's the way. Now, those of us have paid into it, and those of us who are receiving it, I'm receiving Social Security right now. It started this year. And so you know what? Okay, fine. Leave my Social Security alone. But if there is a better plan that could come up where my grandchildren can take their money and put it into some type of IRA or savings account or whatever it is they want to do with it and create a better retirement for them, why would I not want that? Why do I have to jump into the paradigm thinking of we can't do anything with Social Security? We have to leave it the way it is. Well, it's dying on its own anyway. And just like Obamacare is dying on its own anyway. But the point is, we've been lulled into thinking that Social Security is an essential aspect of retirement. And so therefore, it's a sacred cow. The same thing with Medicare. You can't do away with Medicare. What would all the old people do? What would the low-income people that have had to retire and they're working as Walmart greeters to make ends meet? Okay, so we've been lulled into thinking that that's the best we can do. And that's what they want to do with Obamacare. Now, this whole idea of repealing and replacing, I'm listening to Trump last night, and I'm telling you, I did not feel good after I heard what he had to say about it. Let me share with you what he said, and then I'll get Joe's take on this too, because I know this is Joe's big thing right now. So he says, I'm calling on Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with reforms. Since when does the government ever reform anything well? That expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care. I don't know about you. I think I heard that before from somebody.
Yeah.
Barack Obama. In fact, I heard it before that from Hillary Clinton, back when she ran the health care reform when her husband was president. Remember those days? Okay? It was all about expanding choice, increasing access, lowering costs, and providing better health care. Well, that's what Obama told us. It was going to expand our choices. What happened? It limited our choices. You can keep your doctor. You can keep your plan. That didn't happen. We're now limited. We have exchanges now, or we have insurers that are pulling out of states. And so what's happening in some of the counties, I think Trump highlighted it last night, in some of the counties throughout some of the states, they only have one choice now because the other providers have all backed out. That doesn't sound like you're... And so what are you going to do, Mr. Trump? Well, he's saying, let's tear down the borders. Okay, fine. I'm all for that. But if the government is still involved, then the government is still going to be regulating. And if the government's still regulating, they're still going to try to be fixing things. Even if it's already fixed, they're still going to try to fix it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to lower costs. My plan, I believe in that. Across the state insurance companies. You can sell. You're an insurance company. You get licensed in a state. You sell. All right. But
you don't need to take over the healthcare. The government doesn't need to be involved. You just say, hey, portability is allowed, just like it's allowed in your auto insurance. Okay, fine, great, wonderful. But
and that's how you
create have government involved in that.
That's how you create competition, lower the costs. We talk about pharmaceuticals. We've talked about on the show. My idea, international competition. Canada and Mexico, drugs are just as good. I've bought drugs from Mexico and I've bought drugs from Canada. And they work just as good as anything that's here in the United States at about a tenth of the cost. So let's let the international pharmaceuticals come in and let's let them compete with Pfizer's and some of these other people, some of these monopolies that control all the medication that goes in and out of this country.
Here's the bottom line with this, John. Here's the bottom line with leaving any of Obamacare left to fester, to be alive, is Republican, quote unquote, conservative, whatever. I don't care. If it's allowed to stay alive, as soon as the progressive left gets back in control again, and they will get back in control of government again, it will happen. As soon as they do, they will resurrect it once more. The phoenix will rise from the grave, and you'll see the same crap again, only this time it'll be much worse because they won't do the same thing they did the last time because they saw what happened, and they will know they're going to have to go ahead and really shove it up your butt to make it work. So they will not, and it will be ugly. It'll be even uglier the next time. So you must get rid of it. Again, as I said, when's the last time you've seen any of these progressive programs repealed? Take a step back. They always hit the pause button. For crying out loud, quit pausing. Let's get rid of it. Send them back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I make the comparisons. I often, in my own mind, compare Obamacare to Social Security because of the aspect that Social Security has become a sacred cow. Everybody's accepted. This is the way it is. Now, I tell you from my own personal example here. I paid into Social Security my years in the workforce, 45 years in the workforce. I paid into Social Security about $27,000. Okay? I'm going to make more than that. I'm going to get more than that back. In fact, I probably have already, by the end of next year, I will have exhausted that, what I actually paid in. So you have to think of Social Security the same way you think of insurance. You pay in, some people collect it, some people don't. And you pay in over a course of time, and then when you need it, you get it. Some people live long.
The difference is, John, you are forced to pay into it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm just talking strictly numbers right now, just the economic side of this thing. You pay into it. I'll be fortunate enough, I'm hoping, unless I get crushed in an automobile or something. But the point being is that I'll be able to draw more out of Social Security than what I put in. But I can tell you this, with what I know about investments and IRAs and everything else, had that money gone into an IRA or something else over a period of 45 years, I'd be in the top 1% right now, folks. I can guarantee you that. I'd be one of those people that Occupy Wall Street would hate. I'd have a couple $1 million laying around, and I wouldn't need to worry about having health insurance because I could afford it. I wouldn't need worry about a mortgage because I could pay for a house. I wouldn't need to have to worry about how am I going to get to work or how am I going to get down to Walmart or anything else because I would be able to afford a car. Guarantee it. I know it. I know how finances work. Taught it for a number of years. I know compounding interest. I know how it works. $27,000, I'd have $5 or $6 million sitting in the bank right now. Now, there are going to be other people that may live longer than I do. Here's the point. By the time my grandchildren, if they're paying the same amounts in Social Security or just a little bit more, and they end up over a 45-year span of time paying $27,000 into that, what are they going to get out of it? Nothing, because everybody that's alive before them is going to drain it. You can't keep paying out more than you're bringing in. Simple mathematics. That's my point. It's the same thing with Obamacare. You got people paying in. The people that are supposed to be paying the most aren't buying it because they don't think they need it. And then those of us who do need it, they're taking from us to pay for those who can't buy it. You got more money going out than you got coming in. It can't work. It cannot work because you're going to deplete the source, the capital. It isn't going to work. You can't continue to do it this way. When we get back from the break, I want to outline here for you the 5 things that Donald Trump says that he believes health care should have. And this should make your hair stand up on your arms, because I'm telling you, and I'm going to say this, and I don't take it out the wrong way, if we put blackface on Donald Trump last night, we'd be listening to Barack Obama when it comes to Obamacare. That's my take on this.
If the election would have turned out differently, Hillary Clinton be saying the same thing.
Yeah. Maybe worded a little bit different, but she'd be talking about how, because this is actually, we've heard this from her. Some of these things we've heard from her.
Her voice.
You may not have been able to process it because of the squeaky voice, but she's been saying the same thing. We got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
You can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Red State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Sometimes when you compare prices on products, you think to yourself, what difference does it make? The rates are all about the same anyway. But sometimes the rates are very different. Let me give you an example where there's a huge difference in pricing between companies. Vehicle protection plans. Look, if your car is 4 years or older, having a vehicle protection plan is a no-brainer. The trick is not to overpay for it. Here are the facts. The average price of a vehicle protection plan is $2,800, while the price of a TOCO warranty vehicle protection plan for most vehicles is just $1,500. The average down payment on a vehicle protection plan is $299. With TOCO warranty, there's no down payment. The average monthly payment on a vehicle protection plan is more than $160 a month. With TOCO, the average monthly payment is just $49. To get a highly rated vehicle protection plan at a great low rate, call TOCO Warranty at 1-800-987-1519. That's 1-800-987-1519. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will fight for you using industry secrets that can stop any IRS actions, eliminate penalties and interest, and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor now for a free IRS audit emergency review.
800-691-9879. 800-691-9879. 800-691-9879. That's 800-691-9879.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for MyPillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. MyPillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable MyPillow is with its patented interlocking fill. MyPillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. MyPillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. MyPillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. MyPillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code RedState. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code RedState. Put sleepless nights behind you with MyPillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program. And new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote. Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294. Are you behind on your taxes? The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote at 800-790-4294. 800-790-4294.
We need to keep illegals out.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
All right, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And we're talking about Trump's speech last night. And the one area that really hit me, there's a couple of things he said that kind of tweaked me a little bit. But the big one was, of course, Obamacare. Of course, on the left, according to Google, it was the most tweeted part of the night was on Obamacare. But I can guarantee you that was mostly the left-wing radicals out there. All the organizations that are out there at the town halls were probably all gathered together with their iPads and their phones and told to tweet at now. Everybody get ready, tweet. You know, I'm sure that's what happened there. You know, they all had their respective scripts.
When do we chant? When do we chant?
Yeah, when do we chant? When do we tweet? When do we tweet? You know, that kind of thing. So anyway, I want to read the transcript as to what Donald Trump said here. So we keep this in context. Okay, he says, I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care. Now, we've already talked about that. Mandating every American to buy government-approved health insurance was never the right solution for America. True. The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the cost of health insurance, and that is what we will do. Okay, that's also true. Again, it's not for the
yacht right there.
The government is not the one that should be lowering the cost of health insurance. They should have no part of it other than to stay out of the way, reduce regulations, open up the state lines. That's what the Commerce Department can do. Okay, and then just get the hell out of the way and let private sector, let free enterprise take its course. That's the way it works. Now, Obamacare premiums nationwide have increased by double and triple digits. True. As an example, Arizona went up to 116%. True. Governor Matt Bevin in Kentucky just said Obamacare is failing in his state. It's unsustainable and collapsing, okay? 1/3 of the counties have only one insurer on the exchanges. Why? Because the other insurers have left. Remember when you were told that you could keep your doctor and keep your plan? We now know that those promises have been broken. Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans. That's where my ears tweaked. Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans. As soon as I heard that, I went, okay, we are now heading into Obamacare 2.0.
Yep.
Action is not a choice. It's a necessity. No, it isn't. Stay the hell out of it. It is a necessity. So I'm calling on all Democrats and Republicans in Congress to work with us to save Americans from this imploding Obamacare disaster. Here are the principles that should guide the Congress as we move to create a better healthcare system for all Americans. My radar, I was bleeding red by this point.
Yeah.
Okay? We move to create a better healthcare system. All right, so what's your version of Obamacare, Mr. Trump? That was what I'm... All right, what are you going to do that Obama didn't try to do, that Hillary Clinton tried to do? All right, first, we should ensure that Americans with pre-existing conditions have access to coverage. I can tell you right there, that is the killer. It's sad to say, okay, it is the killer of insurance on any level.
Yep.
On any level. Pre-existing conditions. If you're telling me, if you get life insurance and you have a heart condition, that insurance company is going to require a medical.
Yeah.
They get that medical and they make the determination, one, if they're going to insure you at all because if you're going to die anywhere after the 2-year contestability period, people don't know this about insurance. Life insurance, every insurance company has a contestability period, 2 years normally. And what that means is if you die from any of the causes that you have not put on your questionnaire when you applied for insurance. If you got a heart condition, you say you don't have a heart condition, and you die of a heart attack within the first 2 years, they're going to contest the claim.
Yep.
They're going to want a medical history. How long have you had this heart condition? Was this documented before you got the insurance? If so, they will not pay the claim because you did not tell them the truth. All right, now, I'm just giving you that example of how that works. Okay, now.
Well, here's the problem here. Let's say you have a pre-existing condition. You don't get insurance until, then you get really sick. Then you buy insurance. They have to insure you? Come on, give me a break. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, here's a good analogy for that. You go to McDonald's and you buy their steaming hot coffee and you drop it on their lap and you sue McDonald's because their coffee's hot. You buy cigarettes and it says on there it can cause cancer. You get lung cancer and you sue the tobacco company because you got cancer. It's insane to think that
already happened.
Somebody else is responsible for my lack of diligence.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Guess what, John? That stuff has already happened.
Yeah. So pre-existing conditions is already the killer because unless insurance companies can charge more. That's what they'll do. That's normally what they'll do. They say, okay, well, you know what? You've got high blood pressure, but it falls within at your age and your weight, and they put all this stuff together and say, okay, we can take you on as a risk, but you're going to have to pay a little bit more. Why?
There you go. We're gonna pay. It's going to be more because you're more of a risk.
Right.
But we're willing to insure you otherwise.
Right, because you might die before we have the opportunity to collect the money that we need from you to make sure that your cost is covered. That's the way it works. That's how insurance works. It's like the object of the game. The risk is, are you going to die before you pay? I know I'm getting kind of technical here, but I want you to understand how this stuff works. When you buy an insurance policy, a life insurance policy, the insurance company is gambling that you will have paid enough premiums that by the time they have to pay the claim, you will have already put that money into the pot. That's how they work. You buy a $100,000 insurance policy that matures at age 95. The plan is the premiums you're paying by the time you reach 95 will be $100,000. So what happens? You get your cash value back. All you're getting back is the principal that you put in. All right, now they try to dance it up with interest and all, but that's not how it works. So what happened? That's what you're doing here. That's what health insurance is about. We're hoping to get enough money from you to cover the cost at some point in time of what it's going to take to either heal you or bury you.
Well, let's get to the next point, John.
Okay.
It's just
All
as
right.
bad.
Yeah, but you need to understand how these things work so you understand why the health insurance industry is saying this is not working. All right? Now, so pre-existing conditions. And then you have a stable transition for Americans currently enrolled. What does that mean? You're going to take the people that are already in it and the people that are being subsidized, because that's what they're talking about. The people that are receiving subsidies right now, we got to figure out how to transition you into another healthcare exchange.
Let's say this a different way. The people that are letting other people pay for their health care need to have a time period so they can have their health care changed.
Exactly, because that's what healthcare exchanges are. Healthcare exchanges are the state exchanges where people go in and sign up for Obamacare and they're subsidized. So they're saying, well, we have to transition those that are being subsidized somehow into this system. What's that mean? That means you've got to come up with money to do it. That's what it means. Where are we going to get the money? How are we going to do it? Are we going to create taxes? If you're going to turn around like the next point, you're going to help Americans purchase their own coverage through the use of tax credits and expanded health savings accounts. How are you going to do that and at the same time subsidize somebody else? See, the money's got to come from somewhere. You can't just say it's there. We're going to transition you people that signed up in the healthcare exchanges and continue to subsidize your coverage. But at the same time, those people who were paying for it before, were paying for your healthcare before, are now going to be able to keep their money and put it in their own health account. So where is the money going to come from? Somebody's got to pay it, and the poor ain't going to do it. So who does that leave? It leaves us. Those who are paying in to your health care. You're going to have an additional thing that you're going to have to pay for, like Social Security. There's going to be some kind of health care subsidy or something that you're going to have to pay. I don't know what they would call it. All right? But you're still going to have to pay for it. The working class is still going to have to pay for the non-working class. It has to happen that way. Am I right, Joe? Or am I off base here?
It's exactly that. How are they going to do that? This is not the way to do this. This is more of the same. It's just we're going to let the seed will be planted there to one day be watered by the progressive left to grow into the monster that they wanted Obamacare. The Obamacare it's just a very small monster right now. When they get their second crack at this, if they leave this in place, don't worry, we'll never get rid of it.
Yeah, and I tell you what will happen. This is the way it has to work. The premiums that you were paying before you lost your plan, those of us who had their own plans, and you lost those plans because they didn't fit the regulations that Obamacare required, you could get those plans back, but you're going to pay more premium for them. And the reason you're going to pay more premium is because they've got to build up that risk pool to subsidize those who still can't afford it. So what it is, it's still going to be taxation. It's just going to be done a different way. It's going to be done through, I'm trying to think of the word that they use these days whenever they want to tax something and not call it a tax. I'll think of it during the break here. We got to go to the break.
Investment.
No, there's a specific phrase that they use. I'll think of it during the break here. And that's it. I'm just thinking how it would show up in your paycheck. It'll be named something that this amount of your money, your tax dollars are going in to subsidize, or your premium, or it's going to be hidden under the premium. It'll be the
universal buddy tax because everybody's your buddy.
Yeah, somehow they're going to get the money from you, and because they're going to have to continue to subsidize. We got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue. There's a couple more points here that Donald Trump lined up for us last night in his speech to Congress. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
We need to keep illegals out.
Am I not speaking English?
The Conservative Syndicate.net, where we speak only one language, American.
All right, the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. I want to get right back into this to make sure we have time to cover this today. We're talking about Donald Trump's references or his call to Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with a better system that's going to lower costs, increase health care, and yet still be able to do all the things that Obamacare was supposed to do. And that is cover people with pre-existing conditions, be able to still subsidize those that need subsidies. He didn't use those words, but that's what he was talking about. And we're trying to explain to you why. Understand what risk pools are all about, and you understand why all this rhetoric about everybody having access to affordable health care is a sham. It's a sham. It's a hoax. It's a lie. Put it more bluntly, it's a lie.
Yeah, right up there with global climate change and carbon tax and all that other crap.
Yeah. Carbon tax, or what was carbon footprints and carbon credits. Yeah, okay. I'll pay some money so that I can fly my plane around, and that's supposed to help pollution. That's the thinking on that kind of stuff. So anyway, we're talking about the idea that Americans should be able to purchase their own coverage through the use of tax credits and expanded health savings accounts. But the point being is that those plans now would cost more simply because you're still going to have to somehow put some money in the pot to take care of those other people. He goes on there and says, and this is why. See, he actually just said the same thing over again, just a different way. Thirdly, we should give our great state governors the resources and flexibility they need with Medicaid to make sure no one is left out.
There you go.
What they're talking about is the state exchanges. See, that's what the state exchanges were doing. They were putting people into Medicaid, not giving them real health care. They were putting them into Medicaid because Medicaid is entirely government funded. So people need to understand this. When you get on Medicaid, you are receiving government subsidized health care. You're not paying anything for it. That's why Bernie Sanders loves it so much. Medicaid is the single payer system. It's just those receiving it right now aren't paying anything into it. It's being paid for by everybody who's not in it. Okay? Those of us who have health care programs. All right. So, having said that, when you talk about the resources and flexibility they need with Medicaid, what they're saying is they're going to have to prop up the state exchanges. They're going to have to figure out some way of making the state exchanges a viable resource for people to gain health care. So what do you need private insurers for if everything is coming through Medicaid? If everything is coming through state exchanges? It's a contradiction in terms. It doesn't work. The faces don't fit. All right? Am I making sense, Joe, or am I just rambling?
Well, this is the same argument we had 9 years ago. It's the same argument we had then when they started doing this Obamacare routine, talking Obamacare up. It's the same damn thing. We've been over this and over this. This is sickening. This is ridiculous. We know what's going to happen here. This is the same crap. You can't do this. The block grants will go to the states, blah, blah, blah. As long as you're covering somebody else is going to have to pay for it. Why do you think you have $10,000 for a Tylenol in the emergency room?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. You're absolutely right. Now, let's get back down here to the final one. Because here it is. He just sold us Obamacare 2.0, but you got to have that closing line. You got to have that byline. You got to have that line that sucks everybody in and says, oh, yeah, this is great. So what's he say? We should implement legal reforms that protect patients and doctors from unnecessary costs that drive up the price of insurance. What he's talking about is lawsuits. They've got to somehow reduce the number of lawsuits.
Tort reform,
yeah. Make it less easy for people to sue the healthcare industry, or for patients to be able to sue the healthcare industry if they don't get their, the healthcare that they're supposed to get. And then to work to bring down the artificial high prices of drugs and bring them down immediately. That's what we.
So John, what he should have done here is scrap the first three things and just said the fourth thing alone.
Well, I think what he should have done is said this. Yes. We are going to repeal Obamacare. And then we are going to open up through the Commerce Department state lines to be able to sell interstate. And we're going to reduce regulations that allow people from other countries to bring pharmaceuticals into this country and create competition. That is the repeal and replace plan in my book. Get the government out of everything else.
Yep.
Let the Commerce Department eliminate the borders to bring in interstate competition. Eliminate our borders to allow international competition in the pharmaceuticals. And that will then take on a life of its own.
Exactly. Well, that would be the legal reforms that would allow that to happen. All this other stuff is more government control. You take care of the legal reforms, open up do the portability, do the tort reform, make sure that you can go across into international pharmaceuticals. You allow those things to happen. Bring down the prices of the pharmaceuticals, bring down the prices of the drugs, bring down the prices of the premiums of your insurance, allow you to go ahead and go across state lines for competition. Yes, those are the things that need to be done. You don't need the other things. The other things are more government control.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, having said that, I think we pretty much summed up what was wrong in Donald Trump's speech last night.
That's not what he ran on, and I could see Paul Ryan sitting behind him last night just going, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what we've been talking about. Me and Boehner had it like that all along, man, when Obama was in. Now we're finally going to get somebody in there that'll sign our crap.
Yeah, now here's the catch, guys. None of it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't see it's going to happen. The House will do something. The House will put in place Paul Ryan's plan, no doubt. The Senate is going to screw it up because the Senate screws everything up.
Yeah,
and they're going to screw it up with their bickering and their lobbyists and everything else. I can tell you right now, there's lobbyists that were calling Lindsey Graham and John McCain and Mitch McConnell and the whole lot of them last night going, hey, by the way, what can we do to rub your back today? Because we're going to need you down the line here, man. Paul Ryan's going to try to push something through here. We need those government subsidies right now because we're on the verge of collapse right now.
What they need to do is they need to send back the 2015 repeal bill that they had put on Obama's desk and let Trump sign that. That's where they should start, and we'll work on the rest of it from there.
Yeah. So, anyway, okay. Wow, we got that all covered today. Hey, look, we're coming up on the end of the show. Tomorrow, Scott Faulkner's supposed to be with us, and I'm not sure if he'll be with us the whole show. I'm sure going to try to get him. I think I'll have him come on the first hour, and we just won't let him go. We'll just do that. Then just tell him you gotta make up for lost time, my friend. You gotta make up for lost time.
You can't leave, Scott.
Yeah, but I know he wants to talk. He sent me a blurb, lots to talk about. When he says that, when Scott says that, that means he's got a lot on his plate. And cool. He sent me a message. Got to get on the show. Lots to talk about. Trump was great.
It's going to be good stuff then. Going to be real good stuff.
Yeah, it'll be good stuff. So We'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, remember, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and you can catch this archive or any of our archives. We love you guys. Thanks so much for being loyal to us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hayko, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America. All right, we're done.
Okay, cool.
Need that extra few seconds there. All right. And I got to look at our chat room here. Roy says he got blocked.
Blocked by what?
He said he got a message that he was restricted for 15 minutes from the chat room.
Why?
I don't know. I don't have any restrictions on this thing. I'm not really sure what that means. I have to contact their support people and find out what they're talking about.
That's weird.
Yeah.